All right, in this next video of the myViewboard components, we're going to talk about the select tool, the pen tool, and the erasing tool. So the select tool is a little bit different than this infinite canvas that we've talked about because it selects actually different layers. So I'm going to use the pen tool and I'm going to draw on my screen in several different areas. And then I'm going to show you how the select tool works. If I select the select tool, which is this rectangle, I call it dotted ants with the teal arrow, I'm able to actually draw in an area and it will select anything in that area. So you can kind of freehand and delete certain objects. So if I only do a freehand circle right there, it's only going to select those things. But I could go around everything, and as long as that yellow marching ants line covers the items, then they will all be selected. And then we will get our pop-out panel here of what we choose to do with what items or layers we have selected. So you can delete the layers, you can lock the layers. It'll tell you if you kind of hover over it. You can lock an object, but it being able to move, change the colors, all kinds of things, duplicate, mirror, give it an effect if you wanted to. So you can use that select layer to do that. And you can use that select layer even if you're on the Windows toggle tool and you've drawn some different things and you wanted to delete them. If you didn't want to delete all of them, you could just freehand a certain area and delete those selections. Now for the pen tool, if you click it once, you get three just generic colors, black, red, and blue. But if you click the pen tool twice, you're going to pop out with some more pen options. So you have the weight of the pen right here, as well as the opacity of the pen. So you could have lighter colors, more opaque colors, but you could also have full bold colors, and then adjust the weight of your marker here. Also, you have the paintbrush tool, same thing with the sliding dials here. The paintbrush has more of like an angled feel to it. The next one is the highlighter. I love the highlighter tool, especially if you're using the Windows toggle. You can adjust the weight here, but you can also choose the highlighter and it will actually still show the font behind it. So if I highlight this little area that I worked on here, you'll see that it still shows just like a true highlighter would. And also, if y'all wanted to continue to use the highlighter, it's going to give me the three basic colors of the highlighter there, and I could highlight a different area. So that's really cool if you're using that Windows toggle tool, going over a Schoology assignment, going over something on the internet, and you really want to point out to your students a certain area, you can highlight that, highlight the directions. The next one is the laser tool, laser pen, and you can also use the laser pen on your app. So that means it stays there for a second and then it will go away. The laser pen on your app is really neat. It will actually show up just like a laser pointer would. The next one is a really neat feature. It's called the AI pen. That stands for artificial intelligence. And what this pen does is it tries to, I tell people, it tries to read your mind. It's like there's little people in here who are trying to figure out what it is that you're drawing. The kindergarten teacher in me really loves this tool. So if I start to draw right here, it's going to try to interpret what I'm drawing. So I'm trying to draw a sailboat, and over here you'll see that it's starting to figure out what it is that I'm drawing. What was that thing that you were trying to draw? And right here I actually see a sailboat. So I could click that, but I could also tell where this could be a beaker. Right here it gives me like a more complex sailboat, like a like the Mayflower, a scooter. The kindergarten teacher in me is like, oh, I could totally see how this is a scooter. So I'm actually going to click the sailboat and I can drag and drop it onto my canvas, and I can select it by just clicking, and I can actually adjust the size. I could adjust the color of that sailboat like that. But to take it a step further, if I click the AI pen again, my image is still there. And if I hover over it and click and hold, it's actually going to bring up a Google search of sailboats because that's now what it knows that I was drawing. And it's going to come up with all of these images that the rights are already given for you to be able to use with excellent resolution in your presentation. So I could actually click this sailboat. I could just drag and drop it right onto my canvas. I'll close out of it. I'm going to show you how incredible the graphics are on that. The resolution stays good. Everything there is looking awesome. So here I'm going to use the select tool, and I want to kind of get rid of some of my my markings on my page earlier. But you'll see, because I did a circle, I also included the picture in there. It selected all of the things that were in the circle that I had drawn. So I'm going to deselect. I can do that one. I can do them one at a time by clicking each individual layer. I'm going to move this over here, and now I can do a big circle and delete. Sorry, my mouse is going crazy. Oh, and that was the laser pen, so that's why that's not deleting right now. There we go. So now I'm going to select my sailboat and move it back over here. But again, you see the two different ways you can use that AI pen. And that was right here. So now I'm going to go back to the pen settings. You have patterned settings, a shape pen. So if I click the ladybug, anything I write is going to be in ladybug. So I think that's fun. For lower elementary, you could write sight words in different patterns, trace spelling words, different things like that. And to that same extent is this pattern magic line pen. So they can select a different pattern that they want to use. If you wanted to write your spelling words in Candy Crush, you could do that. Just some really cute little options there. And these can be adjusted, and the patterns and the shapes that you see can be adjusted on the myViewboard web portal preferences side. I'm going to change that back to my marker and select the red. And now for the eraser tool. So if you're using your panel, you can actually do a flat palm and erase everything that's on your screen. But you also can just use your mouse to erase different things. And then, like I said, you can always use that select tool to erase things a lot quicker. So if I wanted to erase all of those items, it selected everything. I click delete, and everything is now gone from my canvas, and I didn't have to erase everything one by one. So that's just a little recap on the select tool, the pen tool, and its extra features down here, as well as the eraser tool.